Hey everybody, it's Brandon here. Welcome to the channel. And in today's video, I'll be talking to you all about fighting games. More specifically, my passion for it, my love for it, and how I want to go do tournament locals for Mortal Kombat 1 whenever that's available. So I'll start from the beginning. I grew up on fighting games, and I know fighting games can be intimidating, so I guess growing up on it, I kind of passed that intimidation barrier and stood through it. And I never was one to quit. Like, I'm not really a quitter, and I'm very grateful and thankful I don't really have like a quitter's mindset. But when I was younger, because I have an older brother and older sister, and my older brother was into video games, and my older brother, he had these 3D fighting games such as Tekken, Dead or Alive. And I remember playing specifically Dead or Alive, and I think it was either like 2 or 3 if I'm not mistaken. But I just remember specifically playing as Ryu Hayabusa, not even remembering who his name was. So it was really cool way later on in life when I was like really into the Ninja Gaiden games. And then I was trying to remember, who was this character I used to play all the time in this one fighting game my brother had. And after doing research, I found out that he was the same character that I love to play, obviously because he was the main character for Ninja Gaiden. I was like, that's freaking cool. It felt like a collision of worlds, right? Worlds colliding. But I digress. Anyways, so that was my first taste of fighting games, was with Dead or Alive. And growing up, I love ninjas. Growing up, I love martial arts. My sister, she actually paid for me growing up to do martial arts. I did Tang Soo Do, which is a Korean style of martial arts. And I did it with my oldest nephew. And he did it for a little bit, and he got out of it, and I stood through, and I wanted to get my black belt. I was so infatuated with the culture of martial arts and self-defense, and I thought it was really cool too that my parents were also really into fighting. We had posters in the house of like Muhammad Ali, of Bruce Lee, and I thought it was really cool that my grandfather from my mom's side was a boxer and won the Golden Gloves in New York at one point. And so I've always just liked fighting, not fighting in the sense of like I want to beat up on people, but like the art of it, like the legit art of it, like martial arts, right? And so I just did more research on martial arts growing up, continued on in Tang Soo Do, learning the bow staff, learning the nunchucks, and had a great time with that. For Halloween, I always dressed up as like a ninja or like a Power Ranger, my mom would say, and I was just really fascinated just by it, by the punching and the kicking and the cool moves and the tricking and the flipping and all that. The weapons and the sound effects. I was just really just infatuated by that. And so growing up, when I got my first console that my parents bought for me, because my brother gave me his Nintendo 64, was a PlayStation 2. And in the PlayStation 2, I played one of my first fighting games were Dragon Ball Z fighting games, like the Budokai series, which I'm really excited for the new Tenkaichi game, and for more information on that when that comes out. And so watching anime, specifically shonen anime like Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball, really it continued to just fan the flames of martial arts and fighting and that realm and that community and culture. And so playing those Dragon Ball Z games, I remember my PlayStation 2, I didn't have a memory card when I first got it because my parents don't really know stuff knew about that. And so I had to I would try to leave my PlayStation on so I can continue from where I left off. But obviously I couldn't leave it on the entire week or anything, so I had to keep restarting and seeing how far and how fast I can get past those beginning levels for said game. And one of the fighting games that I ended up getting later on with PlayStation 2 was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. And I was all in. I thought this was super cool as well. I was like, okay, ninjas, samurai, warriors and stuff like that, the fighting, the martial arts, and that pulled me in even further. So I grew up on Mortal Kombat because later on I ended up getting, I didn't get Deception, but I did get Armageddon, and I played the crap out of that. And that was a lot of fun. I had Soul Calibur, I played Soul Calibur, I played Tekken, so playing all different types of fighting games growing up. And but the people I surrounded myself with, like my cousins or other family members and friends, they weren't that big into fighting games. They were more into first-person shooters and all that. So I dabbled into that, learned how to play that, and I just kind of played the games my friends played. But as I get older, I still love fighting games. Like, I have an arcade fight stick. Like, I literally bought this so I can replicate the aesthetic, because when my brother would come and visit from Miami to Central Florida, he would take us to the amusement parks and stuff like that, his family. And there was this one resort that we used to stay at, and they had an arcade for Guilty Gear specifically. That is for Guilty Gear. And I used to play Kai Kiske all the time, and that was a lot of fun playing that. And so I just liked just the tippy tappies and the clicks of it, the vibe of it. I know it doesn't make me a better fighting game player because I know how to play with this, but I like the aesthetic because I got so used to playing with the controller for fighting games, you know, playing the Naruto Ninja Storms, the Dragon Ball, the Mortal Kombat, the Tekken, all those other things. Play a little bit of Street Fighter, and more recently I've gotten more fond of the Street Fighter aesthetic and world, specifically like the older stuff like Street Fighter Alpha and Third Strike, which I ended up getting Fightcade and trying to find other ways to really just play those classics. And so there's so many different fighting games that I've dabbled in, but like I mentioned, I grew up on Mortal Kombat, and so specifically I want to play Mortal Kombat to take that to locals. I want to submerge myself even deeper into the community, because I watch Evo, I watch different fighting game people talk, like Maximilian and stuff like that, like watch them talk about fighting games and that culture, but I never really considered myself to be part of that community, because I feel like I'm more like an outside guy watching in, who, you know, is too busy and too caught up with everything else. But I just love the thrill, all right, that fighting games bring, the joy, especially because it's the closest thing I can get back into when it comes to sparring and doing traditional martial art tournaments, due to my season that I'm in. You know, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and you know, there's just a lot of responsibilities and priorities. That's the word, priorities, that supersede all this other stuff. And so I just got to pick and choose my battles, pick and choose what it's opportunity cost at the end of the day, what I'm choosing to give up to have, you know, like, does it equal up, right? Is it worth it? And so my family, not worth giving up, not worth sacrificing, but I can pivot time, I can pivot resources, and I can still find pleasures and joys in fighting games and other things, right? In my hobbies, because I like a lot of stuff. I like anime, I like fighting games above me, or my Gunplas that I have. I like stuff. Like, I'm a nerd, right? I'm a kid still at heart. And so I just, with the reveals for the, you know, Street Fighter and Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat, and just really seeing this world of Mortal Kombat grow and stuff, I'm just like, man, I really miss it. I really want to get into it. And it brought me back to when I was in college. So when I was in college, a group of friends of mine, some guys I dormed with, they were really into fighting games too. You know, they were just really competitive. One friend specifically, Caleb, was super competitive. So it was awesome just to be around someone like that. It was frustrating getting whooped 1,000 times in certain games that I've never experienced before. Like, that's the first time I've ever played PlayStation All-Stars, and we would play the crap out of it, and it was great. He would destroy me with Nathan Drake like every single time, and I would pick Raiden from Metal Gear. But then after we played that for like months straight, right, playing hours in, then we switched over to Soul Calibur, and we put a whole bunch of hours into Soul Calibur, boom, playing the crap out of it. And then after that, Dragon Ball Fighters, and playing the crap out of that. Like, we just would spend hours, and it was so much fun. And I just want to be able to experience that again, like that thrill, like, because I used to have similar thrills when playing with my nephews and stuff, but they're, you know, family and friends, at a certain point you guys start getting on different schedules, different availabilities, and things of that nature, and so therefore you can't really have those good old days, those moments of just of playing video games the way that you used to, that brought so much joy and excitement, and was bred so many discussions that you can have later on. So Another thing was when playing the fighting games, the different ones we played in college, we switched over to Smash Bros. The Smash Ultimate was coming out, and my friend Caleb was like, bro, Smash Bros is my game. It's the thing I've always played. And I played it a bit, like I played a little bit of Brawl and Melee, and just the Nintendo 64 one, just regular Smash Bros. And I'm not used to that. That's not Mortal Kombat, you know, like that's the game that I was most used to. And so I had to learn and grow and adapt and crawl up this freaking mountain to get good at it, to be able to stand a chance against my friend. And when I lose a lot of things, I take it very serious and I get hyper fixated, and I do a ton of research. I clock in so many hours and time of training, and like while I'm working, I'm listening to tips and tricks for it, you know, right before I go to bed, when I wake up, all of that. So I was watching all these different YouTubers on Smash Bros, learning the meticulous things, even movements. I was practicing walking in Smash Bros. And so that's just something I want to do when it comes to Mortal Kombat, because I saw how much I've grown and how well I got at the game and how much fun it was playing that, and not really having a community here to really play fighting games like that. I want to go where the community's at. So that's why I want to go to locals and do that, and see where it goes, see how that journey plays out for me. I know I'm gonna lose, probably not even win one match in locals for Mortal Kombat, but I still want to persevere and go to that experience, the experience of growth, which I got to experience during the Mortal Kombat 1 beta, of like learning the game, getting better and stuff. Like one of my favorite moments in the Mortal Kombat 1 beta had nothing to do with me doing a combo. It was more of just the timing. It's the fundamentals. So I was fighting, I think, a Johnny Cage, and I would do a combo, and now the guy, he's on the floor, and so I would typically at times I would grab him, right, because they would block, and so I would grab him and then go do another combo, whatever. So I knew that when he was going to get up, he was going to go for an attack. So in a split second, I just dash backwards to Sub-Zero, right? They whiff their hit, and I come back in and I start wrecking them, and it felt so good. Just those split second moments of split second opportunities. It feels awesome. And so it's even funny too, because recently, the time I'm recording this, yesterday, I watched a Gran Turismo movie, and I freaking loved it. I actually really enjoyed it, and I think they did a good job expressing the intensity and the hype and the emotional roller coaster you go through when you're playing anything competitively, obviously, but specifically I was thinking about games. And I'm like, yo, I really want to play the Mortal Kombat 1 again. I really want to get in, and I want to go do tournaments, because of that feeling that the movie did a good job of reminding me, right? Because I've had similar emotions and feelings of that. Sorry, my words are getting all scrambled. But that's just something for sure that got me hyped for it. I'm like, man, I really want to play this game, and I want to get good at it, and I want to put in hours, and I want to learn combos, I want to learn fundamentals, and I just want to grow. So I've been listening while at work. I've been listening to a ton of videos on just Mortal Kombat 1, on how to get better at fighting games generally, right? Learning inputs, don't button mash, and learning neutral and spacing, and frame data and all that, which I know a bit of those mumbo jumbo, those words, that language already. Like I said, it's just I've kind of been watching the fighting game community from the outside, but I want to like dip my toes in it. I want to get more involved with that. And I even spoke to my nephews about it. Like I told them, like, yo, I'm getting all in. Like I'm getting into this. I really want to dive in and into all that. And I'm gonna find time, and I'm gonna carve out time and be strategic about it, so my other things won't suffer, my other responsibilities and priorities and projects. And what's really cool too is that since the graphic novel that I've been working on, the script is done and all of that, and I'm just on the storyboarding phase, I do need to improve and develop my art ability to keep me in that vibe, to keep me in that realm and that attitude and mood. Fighting games does it, because it's based off of fighting games, which I'll do a video on later, but part of it's based off fighting games and show anime and stuff. But I just, if I immerse myself in this, right? It's going to keep me on that mindset, keep me in that realm. And then I'm excited to just, like, what's it called, draw my characters in different fighting stances and poses, and doing different moves from different fighting games and other stuff, just to develop my anatomy and my ability to draw dynamic angles of martial arts. And it all ties in together. My love for martial arts, my passion for it, studying different styles, getting my black belt in Taekwondo, watching a whole bunch of martial art heavy movies and shows, different mediums, right? And this, like, stuff I follow on social media. And so it just keeps me in this realm, keeps me in this mood and attitude for it, so I can really dive deep and get involved. So that's the heart behind it. That's the passion. That's just the video. I'm excited. I plan on to continue to watch, continue to learn, continue to develop leading up to the release of the game. And I'm gonna get early release for it, and play the game. I'm gonna have a plan, and I'm gonna make a follow-up to this video where I talk about my plan more specifically, and how it's working or not working, and if I need to pivot and stuff like that. My research, looking into some communities, Reddits or groups or Discords, getting involved in that for it, and seeing where this all goes ultimately enough. So that's pretty much it. I just want to thank you all for staying this long watching this video. I hope and pray you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and help me reach 500 subscribers. And maybe check out my other videos. There's some Mortal Kombat theory videos and just talking about my thoughts on the MK1 beta. You can check that out. But you can also check out my other stuff that I do, like the podcast and getting more information on the graphic novel that I'm working on specifically. So take it easy, everyone, and have a lovely day. Godspeed.